throw up a little bit. I'll keep it inside. As you've heard over and over and over again, events change things. Events do change things. And they're not just saying it to sell tickets, I promise you. And I often tell my team, most people don't come to Isagenix on a winning streak. Most of us don't. You heard several stories through the last 2 days. I did not come here on a winning streak. Would it be okay if I shared it with you? I'm going to take you through a little timeline of the events that I've been through over the last 18 months. That's how long I've been with Isagenix. 18 months. And if you had told me 18 months ago that I would be here, I would have called you a liar. So, the 5 years before Isagenix came into my life was so not a winning streak. I went through a humiliating divorce. I'm a single mom of 2 beautiful, beautiful teenagers that rock my world. I owned an own business which I had to shut down in 2010. Broke my heart. I had to give up my family home and every dime I put into it. And on June 24th of 2012, I got the call from my dad. It's a week after Father's Day, I'll never forget it. And he said, "Babe, you gotta come home. I live here in Gilbert, Arizona, but I'm an Irish Chicago girl." And so when Pat O'Malley says, "You gotta come home," you do. Because he had just been to the doctor and he didn't have much time. Had no idea. So on June 24th, I made a plan to go home. And with 10 hours to spare on July 6th, he passed away. When I left to go to Chicago, I was in the car business, and I am the sole provider for my 2 teenagers. No child support. Braces on both, you know how that goes. And I had to ask for time off to go be with my dad. It sucked. But I did it, and they were great. But I worked on commission. And I had to go be with my family for 2 weeks. And half my income was gone while dealing with that. I came back from Chicago after going through that, and the next few months were hard. But I'm strong. Most women, you know, carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. We put on the face that everybody wants you to see. It doesn't work. Because I was crumbling inside. You know the cliche, life is too short? When that smacks you right up in the face like that, there's no words to describe it. So, ironically, 2 years ago today, I walked away from my 6-figure job that was killing me. No idea what I was going to do, but it was killing me. Life is too short to do things you don't love. And at that same time, I checked myself into rehab. My coping mechanisms were food and alcohol, and both were killing me. So I marched my butt into a rehab center. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Walking away from those 2 babies. The day before I walked into rehab, my son said, "I would gladly lose you for 30 days to have you the rest of our life." And I'm happy to report I picked up my 2-year chip this week. So, fast forward. hard on myself. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Interviewing for jobs I did not want. Turned them all down. Forget it. Done. Not doing that. And in March of 2013, a girl I used to work with, thank you, Daphne, I will forever be grateful to you for this, she opened up her mouth about Isagenix. And I was not so nice. It's like, give me whatever you got, shut up and leave me alone. Give me the box. See ya. And I put that box in my closet, under a blanket for 11 days. Told no one. Stupid. On March 23rd of 2013. It's a very significant day. It is your birthday. It's a very good friend of mine's special birthday too. And it was my 6-month sobriety date. And I opened up that box. At the time I was a gallon a day Diet Coke drinker. And yeah, a gallon. I shook so bad people thought I had Parkinson's from all that aspartame and caffeine. So I wasn't gonna give up that though because, you know, I gave up everything else. A little stubborn. So on day 2 I woke up and just didn't want it anymore after putting this Isagenix in my body. Haven't touched it since. Yeah, right? And on day 4, again, I haven't told anybody about what this stuff's doing. Day 4, I woke up out of a sound sleep. I have never slept through the night since I was 7 years old. I thought I died. Still telling no one. I'm moseying on through my day wearing green because it's my favorite color anyway. Not just because of Isagenix, but I'm Irish, so it's green. And I bounced through my day. This person's like, what's going on with you? You're glowing. I'm like, shut up. Good hair day. Just good hair day. And I came home, and my 2 teenagers, and if you have teenagers, you know they don't care what you're doing. My daughter, she was on the couch watching Gossip Girls or something like that. She actually paused it and was like, Mom, what's going on with you? You look good. Now, you think, what? What'd she do? What do you want? My son, 10 minutes later, walks in and does the same thing. Now I think they are both in trouble. They're hurt. Mind you, it's been a rough 5 years on all 3 of us. So they saw something in me that day that they hadn't ever seen. 10 minutes later, the man I happened to be living with at the time walked in and said, babe, what the heck is going on with you? So I watched, I was like, forget it, what's going on? So I take him to the cabinet. I'm like, I don't know what's in this. I don't even know it's legal. But I will never be without it again. That day I pulled my resume off the internet. I had 2 other job interviews lined up and I canceled them. I had no idea what I was going to do. I am a single mother. I had no income, no child support. But I had a miracle happen in 4 days that I have chased for 40 years. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I'm an all-in kind of girl. So I went all in, and I realized that day this is not about me. This is about something much bigger. And I knew that if I did good, I would do good. So before my first Facebook post, I cried. I was so scared to be vulnerable and honest, but I did it. I hit post on April 1st, 2013, and the rest went crazy. It was time to do some work. So real quick, I'm going to go through the events I've gone through. My first event. How many of you, this is your first time being in this room? This room. Well, I've got news for you. This room changes lives. Changes lives. My first event was this event. This event, 5 weeks into Isagenix. And you've heard the story so far, it was pretty bad. 2 days before ICU, I was planning to come, and my best friend of 10 years walked out of my life. Sometimes we cleanse more than ourselves. And the love of my life not only walked out with my heart, he walked out leaving me responsible for the house and the bills and the house that we all dreamed about. So now I was really strapped. And I drove down to the Sheridan. I live in Arizona, so I drove down here and cried the entire way. Sat in the parking lot sobbing. All the negative talk was starting to creep in. was like, no, I can't do this. What are you doing? Stupid. Get a real job, stupid. You know, that's what we do. And I thank God for Isagenix. Because I put on the big girl panties and I marched my butt in this room. And that seat over there is where I sat all by myself and cried. And the first person I saw, the song played. I still get chills when I hear it. This girl is on fire. Yeah. Lynn walked up and spoke to me. How bad do you want it? She said it all, and I was like inspired. I'm like, I can do this. I want it bad. And then, ironically, the person after that was Susan Sly. The grace and the elegance of Lynn Hagedorn and the grit and the fire of Susan Sly I have in me. I didn't know it at the time, but I had it. So I put that in me, and I walked out of here 10 feet tall and bulletproof. The next event was Celebration, and I brought my good friend of 28 years with me. This is my badge from that. And it was amazing. I said I'm going to bring 100 people with me, and I did this year. And right after Celebration, my bestie Tara joined our team. She was a game changer for me and my whole life. The next event was ICU back here in Phoenix, and this was the pivotal moment of my Isagenix career. It was just a year ago, this time last year. And it was this seat this time, over here. And I had about 10, 15. And Cindy Hedges, who's an amazing woman, she caught me in the hallways like, hey, I'm doing a little bit on the why. Will you please tell your why? I'm like, sure. Oh, okay. So she called on me, and I said a little prayer, just praying that God please put the words in my mouth that people need to hear. And as I stood up, and one of my best friends in the world, Tony Mandarich, put his hand on my shoulders, I stood up, and I told my why. Some of you may have been in the room that day. I told my why, the room erupted, they stood up, I cried, they cried, it was crazy. I sat down and my inbox was full, like, what is going on? I grew unshakable faith that day, and with God as my upline. Strive for change is born. Okay, I'm gonna fly through this. So after that was New Year kickoff. Yeah, I was fired up. But before that, a funny thing happens when you go to events. Crazy stuff happens. You know, my first Millionaire in Action thing happened. I had doubled my income the income that I left. And in December, a sweet little girl entered my team. Changed my heart, changed my life, and changed my business. And I will never be the same after meeting her. And together strong, we will kick some butt. New Year kickoff, brought a bunch with. So much fun. And then we moved on to, what was after New Year kickoff? Seattle. Right? Whew. I brought about 10 people with me that experience, and 2 beautiful ice angels walked into my life that day and confirmed the way I lead. And I'll be forever grateful for them. And I also met somebody on the airplane who will now be one of my best friends in the world. We're not even financially connected. We do parties together. We train together. We live life together. It's a lot of fun. And then there's Celebration. I said I was going to bring 100. There was 109 at our dinner in Celebration. It was so great to see light bulbs go off all over the place. And that takes me to today. This room again is changing my life. And I know when I saw the hands go up of all the lives that have been changed, or all the new people that are here, you have won the golden ticket with this company. In 18 months, those kids that I have got the mom that they deserve. I'm so much better now. I'm present, we're doing things together. I work every day, but I do it from fun places, and I take them with me. I learned with this compensation plan very early on. I'm a numbers girl, and I'm not as dumb as I look. And I understood that this was about building a team. The first book, or the first word in one of the books I pick up every day is we. We. I cannot do this by myself. And getting them paid is my mission. And when you do good, you do pretty good. In 18 months, I have made just under, with this company, $500,000. First ICU, I said, I will be a millionaire before my son walks into college. He was a freshman at the time. He just walked into junior year this year. I will be a ISA millionaire by celebration next year. And it's only by the grace of a loving God that will happen, and a lot of hard work. And I know in order to keep what I have to keep giving it away. And I will give it away till I'm 6 feet under. So, be grateful that you're here. This is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I have the very big pleasure of introducing two amazing men. Chris and Lori are amazing. And girls, I found Travis Garza.